Tomato, tomato. And it's seeming to be a busy Friday night everywhere.
Yes, yes, it is.
And, yeah, it's, I've actually been asked by multiple people if I'm going to be on movie night this week, and I don't know if my brain's going to be able to handle that.
27.
And speaking of, hi, Jan. And hello, Paul. But, yeah, this past week has been interesting, to say the least, with everything that's been going on.
Yeah.
And saying, if I end up saying something like really stupid and out there, it's not me, it's the drugs. I think we may have found a muscle relaxer that actually kind of works.
Come on, you gotta be doing that CBD oil. That'll work.
Not necessarily for a hernia with
Ooh.
nerve issues.
Oh, yeah, that's a whole different story.
Yeah, minor detail there.
Are you kidding? What you want, baby girl? Attention. Is that what you want? You want attention. Cat wants attention.
What? You know, I almost decided to use a different phrasing for it, but what furry critter doesn't want attention?
Yeah. Oh, trust me. And this is the middle child.
Oh, so it's even worse.
Yeah, I know. She's 3. The youngest is 7. Yeah, the youngest is 7 months, and then our oldest here is 9. Might as well get him some treats, make him happy.
Yeah, I got to keep that pussy happy.
Especially the one
Yeah,
you can't keep hold of.
yeah. I was trying to hold back from that one, but I couldn't.
Oh, trust me, I knew that was coming.
So sometimes they're just set up for you so perfectly, but
Hi, Venus. There you are.
uh, and then, huh? Oh, it decided to use the number this time.
Well, fuck you. My phone is down currently. Go to hell.
But I thought you were doing so much better with the new Wi-Fi connection on the
Oh,
phone.
well, you know what? That's something that happens when you don't get paid on time. You know, you can't pay your fucking phone bill. My phone bill was due yesterday, so go to fucking hell.
Oh,
I'll get paid tomorrow.
I
I'll be
think
back next week. Go to hell.
I think you're forgetting about the fuckery that I had to deal with for a few months, which
You know what? I
sometimes
went through the same. I went. Okay, wait a second. Wait a second. Wait a second. Let me read you. Let me read you from Texas Workforce Commission.
Uh-oh.
Oh yes.
the,
Eagle Protective Group Incorporated. An investigation having been completed, the following order is entitled pursuant to Chapter 61 of the Texas Labor Code. Findings and conclusion. The claimant is entitled to $605 for unpaid wages. The employer has paid this amount. Payment was made after the wage claim was filed, but before the determination order was issued. It has been determined that the employer violated the provisions of the Texas payday law when the claimant's earnings, wages, and other were not paid in accordance with the law. It has been determined that the employer acted in bad faith. The commission may assess administrative penalty for failure to pay wages as required by law. Go fuck yourself.
I think you're forgetting I have a similar lawsuit pending, except add a 0 on the end of it.
Well, you know what? I only got 60 hours for that at $10 an hour. So yeah, okay, and that's what Eagle determined I was valued at, was $10 an hour. So yeah,
Look,
and I have been in a 3-month back and forth with Eagle about the rest of the wages that I earned, and this was all prior to my fucking heart attack.
Ooh.
Oh, no. Okay, my kids almost didn't get a Christmas this year because I was waiting on this fucking paycheck. The wages were due. Okay, let me put it like this. The wages were due July 11th. I didn't get them until December 14th.
yeah, good 5 months.
And I had to, and I had to file through Workforce to get said wages. And I've had to deal with phone calls, emails, texts from said employer. I have another pending lawsuit for harassment from said lawyer, or from said employer. Because for the last 2 months, I've had to deal with said phone calls, said harassment. Because I wouldn't bow to their wishes and send a family member or said representative to their office to collect my paycheck. So, yeah, you can put this on the air. Eagle Protective Group, Dallas, Eagle Protective Group, Newark, New Jersey can go fuck themselves.
See, I'm not at liberty to say much of what I have pending simply because exactly that. It's still pending, but...
Yeah. Okay, well, I got the determination today, so, yeah.
Well,
They had to pay an administrative penalty to the state of Texas for failing to pay me.
I'm surprised that Texas doesn't...
Those are not cheap.
No, well, and on top of that, I'm surprised they didn't have the same provision that I have up this way, where due to them not paying properly, you could also get damages that are in the neighborhood of 3 times.
Well, here's the deal. Okay, I told the state of Texas, all I want is the money I'm owed. I don't want administrative damages.
And that's where you...
You know what? The administrative damages would have harmed the company. Okay, and I have worked with this company on and off for the last 20 years. Okay, I do have a piece of my soul in seeing this company succeed.
Yeah,
but nothing. Hang on, Jared. Okay. I'll state this on the air. I'll state this everywhere I go. Okay. Mohammed Nasir and his cousins have done me right for 20 years. Up until this year, they have done me right. Time after time after time, have done me right. I didn't want to go this route, but that I got stonewalls, that I got snowballs, that I got screwed over. That I got lied to. Okay, now the lie was forced upon Mohammed Nasir. Okay, and Mohammed didn't have a choice but to follow company lines because his cousin owns the company. And I fully understand that. Okay? Fully know that. Fully know that his cousin's wife runs that company, while his cousin sits behind the desk of a check cashing service that all Eagle officers pick their checks up at and cash their checks at. They get charged a percentage, Eagle gets a kickback. Okay? Now, I was one of the few smart ones that actually had a bank account separate from that check cashing service. I didn't take any of the check cashing services loans or offers for loans. Smarter than that. But that is at an end.
Well,
okay, and I wrecked it for them. I screwed Eagle 7 ways to Sunday because they screwed me out of one paycheck.
No, you only screwed them about 3 ways. Because here's the thing. Separate the personal from the business. Your loyalty was to a person, not the business. Because as you just admitted, the business was actually being run by someone else. So that's...
Okay, all right. And that someone else, through the last 20 years, had offered me various types of payday loans at less than payday loan rates. Okay? Meaning, I would borrow 100 or 20. I'd only have to pay back that 100 or that 20. I wouldn't have to pay a percentage upon that money. Okay? That was all through the check cashing service that they offered.
Yeah, well...
Now, that's over for all officers. That's over for all guards because that was forwarded to the state of Texas.
Yeah, it's a violation of business practices.
Yep. Especially when your last name is truly Sadiq and your wife's last name is Sadiq. You own your wife owns the security company, and all the security company checks are cashed at your location.
Yeah,
for a percentage. A percentage.
It screams of money laundering, which is part of the issue, which raises other issues, and this is where I say they could have got it worse. You went easy on them. I'm not going easy on my former employer because I'm seeking full amount plus all legal fees and lawyers and reasonable lawyer fees.
Well, fortunately, I didn't have to have a lawyer present, but in my next case, oh yes, I'm going to have a lawyer present because I have an employer up here who has lied about my employment, lied about my current status, legal status, which you and I need to talk off the air, away from everything, for you to fully understand this. But needless to say, shit up here is about to get real for the tune of about $10 million. Yeah, I'm going after a former employer up here in Missouri because they've managed to lie, and I've had the local constabulary show up at my doorstep making a claim that isn't true. And this is a liable situation since the damage to the reputation that I have suffered is that of registration, which I do not have a felony conviction at all.
Oh boy.
Oh, yeah.
Oh no. Oh no. I'm saying oh boy about something else.
No.
Something that was just linked in the live chat.
Oh, what?
Oh, I see that.
Oh, please tell me it involves me. Please tell me it involves me and only gives me more evidence.
No.
No.
Damn.
Someone doesn't understand evidence, though.
Ooh. Okay.
Should we torture people and give commentary to it as it's going on?
Oh, yes, please, and read off the comments because I can't see them currently.
Oh no, it's auditory.
And I was hoping it was Tony Riley, but no.
You know, Bo, you don't always
I
get
got
your wishes. Oh, by the way, welcome back. Thank God you're here.
Yeah.
I needed you know how many weeks I've needed a fucking him and you've been MIA?
Hey, sorry.
wait.
I've got a lot of QRN and QRM in my brain, so.
You know what?
If you needed
can
ham, why
bypass
didn't you
the
just go to the
QRM.
store?
What?
If he needed ham, why didn't he just go to the store?
A fellow ham.
officially.
Wait, Bo, hush. A fellow ham. Not him, a fellow ham.
So why didn't you go
Get
out
it?
to the pig pen?
Because Piggy needed a boost in life. And you know what? Look at Pig, God bless you, brother. I'm rooting for you. I'll say that right now.
Have you tried moving to Washington? There's plenty of pork up there.
No, oh hell no, because I would be fucking face stick man in a heartbeat. I hate Antifa.
Oh yeah. Oh, I'll jump on that bandwagon. Antifa, assholes. They're a terrorist organization, basically. Wait, no, wait. Haven't they made it to the list? Haven't they made it to that list?
I need
I'm
to
not
fucking
even
move.
sure anymore.
You know what? I need to fucking move to Denmark.
Yeah, where you get
Because-
real ham delivered, right from the farm, instead of it having to be frozen down or whatever and then shipped over. Oh yeah.
No, Bo, you misunderstand this. I need to move next door to you so that in case I have another heart attack from all the ham I have delivered, you're there to perform CPR on me.
What good is he gonna do?
Oh yeah.
He can
well,
do chest compression. He can do chest compressions without kissing my face.
plus I am
are you
literally
sure about
less
that?
than 5 minutes. I'm less than a 5-minute run to the nearest defibrillator. We have those out in public here.
You know what? Thank God for that.
So-
I'm moving next door to you.
Yeah, and you would also. I heard, a little bit of what you talked about earlier, and thankfully, as far as I know, even if you were a convicted felon, you would still be allowed to vote because it is a basic right as a citizen of Denmark.
Don't they consider it a
no.
requirement, not just a right? Or is that Australia that has the compulsory
A
voting?
requirement? I have never heard that before.
Well, no.
Hey,
Hey, Joe,
Okay.
they sent you a link to
Well,
Discord for you to watch later.
here's the deal.
Well,
okay, here's the deal. Is 2 weeks ago, I had a local sheriff's department officer show up at my front door, making that claim, and never in my life have I had ever had to prove anyone so fucking wrong in my entire fucking life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well,
Okay.
that part I did hear.
All right,
And
now,
something that is.
okay. All
Wait,
right. Do you know
wait.
what the initials? Do you know what the initials RSO mean? Do you know what those letters stand for?
Let's see.
They stand for they
no.
stand for registered sex offender. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
My previous employer made the implication to the sheriff's department that I was supposed to be a registered sex offender anywhere I live in the 50 states. Yeah,
That's
was
cute.
Okay. All right. So now you understand where my lawsuit is based from. Okay. That's defamation. That certain employees at my former employee's office is making those statements publicly.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I've never been convicted of any crime that would force me. I've never been convicted, period.
Well, I was going to say,
Okay.
before even going, because that really is a dirty way to say it. Have you ever been charged?
Charged or indicted?
One and the same.
What's the difference between a charge? I'm guessing that's a
Okay.
police officer
All right.
charging you with something.
Wait a second. Okay, wait a second. A charge comes from a private or from a police officer. Okay. That goes to the district attorney. The district attorney carries that to a grand jury. The grand jury issues an indictment.
Oh, if they decide that, okay, this police officer has enough to go
No,
on.
It's a question of, does the case have evidential merit to proceed to trial?
That's what I meant, but yeah.
Okay. Now, all of this stems from a previous warrantless search by an officer who, 5 years before that, I had an article in a local newspaper that got him fired.
Mm-hmm. Oh, so he's on a vendetta.
As soon as he saw me in his local county jail for DWI, and he realized I had my electronics with me, he placed evidence. Okay?
What a fuckface.
That led to a grand jury indictment, but a dismissal due to unwarranted search and seizure. Because he didn't have a warrant to search my electronics when he searched them.
Didn't Lawful Masses, the guy that Red Rhetoric also had some help from, I think he covered a subject of that type in terms of no-knock warrants. I know it's not exactly the same, but about no-knock warrants and are they actually legal?
No-knock warrants. Okay, no-knock warrants are exactly the same. If the officer enters your home without a warrant, that's a warrantless search. Period. End of discussion. He can't seize anything. He can't claim anything.
Yeah, the only what do you call it? The only exclusion to that is that if not exclusion, I can't remember that word. The only situation where he can do that legally is if he's literally chasing someone whom he knows has done something illegal. For example,
is a wanted felon.
Or he saw him run a red light and
no. He needs a wanted felony to enter a premises.
Okay,
he needs an active wanted felony.
But here's a more relevant question then. In any of the 50 states, if in a suspected sex offender case, where the person gets as close as humanly possible to be to the jury saying, yeah, you're guilty, without getting there, would that in any states be enough to still warrant being forced to register as a sex
you
offender?
have to be convicted.
Only with a conviction.
It's on a judge's order.
No,
it's on a judge order to the conviction. So that's what I'm saying. It has to be.
Yeah, only with a conviction. Period. Only with a conviction should a person be required to register as a sex offender.
Okay, so that kind of thing that would be something that any police officer in the whole damn country would be able to go on their search engines and search for your name, find the link to your social security number, and see if you're actually
and it's called NCIC. It's a national criminal database that is full of people who have previous convictions. NCIC is nothing but full of that. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Are there exclusions to that where you appear on NCIC that you don't have a conviction? Yes. Okay. Does it show that you don't have a conviction? Yes. Does it delay you in certain things like getting a firearm? Yes. Does it delay you in certain things like getting a passport? Oh, definitely. But ultimately, NCIC is not the end-all of end-all for convictions and everything else. Sometimes you do have to look at the state databases, and in which case, not necessarily all state databases are connected to NCIC. I do know Texas, Missouri, Louisiana, Arkansas, Florida, North Carolina, Alaska, those states are all interconnected through NCIC. Everything that you've ever done, from driving 20 miles an hour over the speed limit and above, are in NCIC. If you've ever run from a cop, that's in NCIC. If you've ever fought a cop from an arrest standpoint, that's in NCIC.
Oh yeah,
Whether you've been convicted of it or not.
Yeah, and even if you were during an investigation were suspected of being part of some crime, even without them even asking you about it, I would imagine you would still be on that listing.
And yet I still had I still had the sheriff's officers showing up here, even though I knew that they had run me through NCIC.
So now there's two questions then. One, did he still work within that police department's SOP?
No.
And
no, he did not. No, he did not. No, he did not. Because once they run my name through NCIC, that's it. Okay? They're not supposed to show up at my front door. Okay? Regardless of the accusation. Okay? Once my name is run through NCIC, once my ID is run through NCIC, which he did on my front porch. Actually, he did through the radio here in my driveway. That was it. I didn't have to cooperate with him any further. Okay? I cooperated with him further because I wanted to bury this employer, this previous employer. Okay? I wanted what he was going to say. Okay? And every cop says this. Okay? Every cop will talk if you talk to them. Okay?
Oh, yeah.
It's like I told the cop.
Thing, yeah.
At this point, and I told the cop this, at this point, I treat you as a dirty cop. I don't treat you as a law enforcement officer. I treat you as somebody gunning for me personally. Okay? And I stood up. I you know what? Forgive me, but I acted like I saw it sit. Okay?
Yeah.
From a personal standpoint, I acted like a sob sit. Okay.
Well, there are times that it's warranted.
There are certain times that sob sits have it right. There are certain standpoints that the sob sits have it right. Do they have it right in all cases?
State lines and they ask
court,
for
Well, the sob sits have it where they walk into court and tell the court, "You don't have any jurisdiction over me." No, they don't. Is that where the standpoint where the cop's at your front door? Yeah. Okay. The cop walked into my house when I went to go retrieve my license. I sent him back out the front door. I told him, if you enter into my domicile, you, me, and the district attorney are going to have a conversation, and you're not going to like the end result of it.
Yeah. I mean,
you walked into my house without a warrant.
Yeah, I don't think it's a mystery as to how I feel about sex offenders. I mean, I literally beat one up.
No, I agree with you.
I do not care all that. Yeah, I mean, I don't care all that much about sexual offenders. Those who are actual sex offenders or have been, and what happens to them, as long as they don't get killed. They still have their rights, fair enough. But I'm not all too worried about the small stuff, but the very second that officer looked you up or over the radio or however they do it, and find out, nope, not on that list.
So
Go away. I mean,
so-
it's simple.
So in the live,
And this cop-
it's not
this
like
cop-
I'm sorry, the middle of my sentence interrupted the beginning of yours.
Sorry, Jared.
So from the live chat, Paul said, "If you pull the sovereign citizen card, you're guilty." I disagree with that sentiment because
No.
there are instances where some of what the sovereign citizens have taken over as their talking points actually are legit. There are instances that it is better for you to shut the fuck up when dealing with cops, because there are times that there are cops out there literally trying to screw you over.
Yeah. For
I've-
example, if you
I've
are
lost
a
count.
passenger in a car,
I've lost
and, sorry.
I've lost count the number of times that I've gotten bullshit tickets and I've contested them and won just because they were trying to pad their numbers. They were trying to get more cash flow. There are cops out there that do that. If they were to try to say, "Oh, there's no such thing as a quota," that's bullshit.
Yeah.
Oh no,
I mean,
no.
I-
And this is the thing. This is okay. Let me clarify. This is the thing. Okay. What's the minimum monetary benefit to a district or a legal district to have a registered sex offender in its midst? What's the cost for registration?
Not a fucking clue.
Maintenance of the server?
215.75 in my area.
Are you talking about the cost or what people have to pay?
That's a monthly basis to go down to the sheriff's department, register, have your picture taken, and post it online. It's $275.15.
So that's what they have to pay?
That's what the registered sex offenders have to pay every month.
Wow.
And that's
Okay,
lifetime.
I feel like
that's lifetime.
Wow.
That's lifetime.
Yeah.
Every month.
Disregard, even though what I said earlier I meant completely, but that right there, that's going over the line. If they have to go every single month to get their picture taken, wow.
Mhm.
And they have to pay for all that crap. I mean, to update their address in that list, hey, that's no problem with me. Taking a picture, yeah, okay, fair enough. I mean, your looks change over time, fair enough. But pay that much money?
See, I've
No,
never,
that's-
Okay.
I've
Well,
never,
here's
I've
my-
never
here's-
known or
here's
talked
my
to
take on
someone.
it. Okay, here's my take on it. Okay, I don't have a problem with a police department maintaining a list of registered sex offenders in their area, their city, their county.
Oh, absolutely
I
not. Nope.
do, however, have a problem with that list being accessible by the general public, which is what we have here in the U.S. Okay.
I would say
individual-
if the
an
address
indi- okay,
was
all right,
not revealed.
No, wait. Now, let me ask one very, 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 very important question. Okay? You have somebody who's convicted of DWI manslaughter. Okay? Somebody who's convicted of drunk driving and vehicular homicide. That is DWI manslaughter in a nutshell. Okay, because we give the individual a pass because they were drunk when they killed a family of four.
Yeah.
Okay,
And they usually always survive.
they don't.
a crash.
Okay, and they don't have to register anywhere, even though their recidivism rate is 90% higher than any sex offender ever known. They will
Just-
eventually repeat offend being drunk and behind the wheel.
Just for clarification here,
Yep.
DWI manslaughter, is that enough? Is that not enough to, especially if if you're a regular offender of DWI, and then finally include a homicide there?
Okay,
Wouldn't
first
that be
offense-
a lifetime
first offense-
ban?
No.
Depends
First offense-
depends on the state.
No. First offense
fuck.
usually carries the same offense as a offense that would register you as a sex offender.
Wow.
First offense
I mean-
DWI would rate upon. Well, it depends. If you injure somebody in a first offense DWI, it's going to carry a felon. Okay?
Yeah,
which would be the same as a person who committed a sex offense. The only difference is the DWI is probably offended 80 times prior to getting caught.
Yeah, there's no
Okay.
way of telling, but yeah, most likely.
Okay, no, on average, that's the national statistic is that they've offended 80 times prior to being caught.
No,
Based on reports,
hang on. You got to be really careful about those types of statistics because there's no way to verify them. There's no actual legitimacy to.
This comes from this. Okay, Jared. This comes from the NTSB. Okay.
Oh, I know the organization that puts out those numbers. What I'm saying is them trying to say that your average DUI offender has done it 80 times before they got caught the first time. Sorry, that's a bullshit number that they're doing to scare people. There is no legitimate way that they could come up with that number.
You and I will disagree on that point. And no disrespect, Jared, but you and I will disagree on that.
Self-reporting through any sort of polling always has a massive error to it.
Okay.
And to ignore that aspect of it,
and you know what? You and I agree on that point. But with the DWI reporting, okay, this is where you and I disagree because I've been one of those. Okay, I've been a DWI. Okay, I have a DWI. I admit that. Full 100%. Yes, I've been drunk behind the wheel more times than I care to count, and I've probably done it 90 to 95 times here in Missouri alone. Don't get me started on Texas because that number increases it before I got caught. Okay?
I will agree that people are stupid and do stupid shit. But
Oh, no, Jared. There was a point in my life where I was having a drink before 8 a.m. and I didn't stop until well after midnight. Okay? Do I do it like that now? No, I don't. I work, I function, but I'm still an alcoholic. I still drink. Okay. Do I get drunk and go behind the wheel of a car? No. Okay. Was there a point in my life where I was getting drunk and then getting behind the wheel of a car? 100% of the time. Okay. I'd have a beer before I'd go to work. I'd get to work and drink 2 more. Just to make it through an 8-hour shift.
Yeah, I'm looking at the chat here. I think there's a point that needs to be made very clear. There is nothing whatsoever that would make any of us in this meets hangout here that would ever consider even thinking about humanizing or what do you call it? Making
Placating towards.
no, not placating. Making a joke out of someone getting raped or a rapist. Nowhere
No.
in
No.
hell would that ever happen.
No.
But
Never.
the discussion
Never.
here is
Okay.
about if you are convicted of a sex crime, you're treated in a certain way. If you're convicted of drunk driving and plus manslaughter during the drunk driving, you are punished in a different way.
Yeah.
And by the way,
you
also, if you commit a monetary crime, for example, a bank robbery or whatever, you also get a different conviction there. If
Yeah.
in a monetary crime, you get how much more? How hard do you get punished for that compared to raping an innocent person?
Okay. All right, now
That you
here's
get
my
punished
question.
harder for monetary crimes than rape. That is fucking messed up. Just,
Okay.
Depends
just
on the
here-
to put it into
again,
perspective.
Depends on the court, depends on the judge, depends on the state, and what precedents
Yeah.
are already there. There are so many factors to it that it can seem that way, and
Yeah,
that's-
it cannot be
that-
black and white. Yeah.
that's what happens when you have humans running
Okay.
something.
All right. Now let me ask this question. Okay. How many murderers? How many people convicted of manslaughter? How many people convicted of drunk driving, felony drunk driving, are on the streets that have to register with a database? How many?
How many of them have restrictions as part of their punishment on where they can and cannot live or can and cannot hang out?
Exactly. Okay. Because here's the thing. Being a registered sex offender has multitudes. Being a person convicted of DWI and manslaughter has zero.
No, they still have restrictions. They're just a
So
different
what?
type. They are a different type of restrictions. They do have the immobilization devices that are court ordered that would have to be installed.
Only for a limited amount of time. If they blow clean on their car to start their vehicle, which is the ignition interlock.
And they can also be spoofed, by the way, way too easily.
Oh, I know. The guy that I bought my boat from was a multiple offense DWI driver. Okay, had 3. He had the ignition interlock. He switched the mouthpieces out so I could blow into his freaking ignition interlock to go get his boat to take it to the marina.
Yeah,
He
and how
was
easy is
drunk
it to borrow someone else's car even? I mean,
you know what? I had my boat. I had my truck there. I drove and picked up the boat and drove it to the marina so I could test drive the boat. I bought the boat and I sent him on his way. I blew in his ignition interlock so that his vehicle would start. Okay.
You want to know something?
Beyond that, it was beyond me. But you're talking, 10 years ago.
No. Here's the thing, though, and let this sink in. With you doing that, had he then gotten into an accident and just injured someone, you would have had liability for it.
yeah, and you would absolutely deserve to get exactly the same sentence as he did.
Okay, let me explain a little bit more. I was on the back roads of East Texas. I wasn't really concerned about him having a wreck on Lake Kilgore. Yeah.
You do realize by injuring
not.
Hang on. You realize by injuring someone that does include himself as well?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Yes.
Huh.
You know
Yes,
what? He
if
didn't-
someone
he
if
didn't know
someone
my
hasn't,
name. He didn't know
hang
my
on,
name, and
hang on.
He wasn't smart enough to write my license plate number down. And even if he did, it was out of state. The state wouldn't have run it. He was not. He was not the brightest tool in the
And neither
box.
were you.
Exactly. You're
Okay.
trying to justify. You're trying to justify something that shouldn't have to
And
be.
you know what?
Shouldn't have been done.
I only wanted the boat. That was it. I wanted to make sure the boat ran. I wanted to make sure that the boat ran on plane. The only way I could do that was get the boat on the water.
No,
I got the boat.
His vehicle.
I went and got the boat on the water, ran it on plane, drove it back to the dock, loaded it onto the trailer, loaded the trailer onto my truck, and sent him on his way with $3,200. That was it. That was the extent of me blowing into his interlock and letting his truck run. Beyond that, he had to blow into his interlock. He was sober. He was fine. Hey, it was just the initial startup that he was worried about. Beyond that, every time he hit a bump, the interlock went off. He had to blow into it.
Yeah, but doing that kind of thing is still enabling people. It's still, I mean, I don't know how it's run there, and we have only started using that interlock system in Denmark, as far as I know, on a trial basis. But the way it's run here, at least, is that a DWI repeat DWI offender or a first timer. I don't know because I haven't read into it that much, but some people, if the judge determines that this guy really just made a stupid mistake, it wasn't intentional, that kind of thing, and the judge decides that okay, he does deserve some leeway, then he can let the accused of either serving the time he would do if that was the case, or being banned for that, the determined amount of time, or get that time reduced by having one of those interlocks installed in his car. It is, and in those cases, if it's just a one-off thing for the person, making a mistake, there isn't much of a difference if he gets somebody to blow it for him. But if you're a repeat offender and you get somebody or someone else offers to circumvent that system, you are definitely telling this guy, yeah, sure, yeah, I'd love to help you try and abuse the system, and to hell with it if you happen to kill somebody today. That's just not that's just not right.
Well,
I mean,
number one, let me say this, okay? Number one, the guy was not drunk to begin with, okay? He had maybe had a beer, okay? He was not impaired beyond the extent that I was saying, you know what? I don't think I'll ride with this guy. I think we need to go use my truck. Okay.
Was it a friend of at that time of yours? That you know intimately, or somebody you just met recently?
It was somebody. Okay, all right. It was somebody
you can probably guess what I'm getting to.
Okay, let me say this. I knew of him. I knew of the case because I happened to be in the same city when the case occurred. I happened to be right behind the guy when the case occurred. Okay. I happened to be responsible for him being pulled over initially for his DWI.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Because I happened to be back in Abilene. He was going to a different school there in Abilene. I was going to a Christian school in Abilene to become a youth minister. Okay. The difference between the two cases were I happened to be sober, completely stone cold sober when he got pulled over. Okay. This happened 20 years later. He still got the ignition interlock on his truck because the judge hadn't released him from having the responsibility of having the interlock.
And at that time, did you know his alcohol use history and possible drug-related issues as well?
I knew his alcohol use at that point. Yes, because
Did you know how many beers,
okay.
let's say, that he had that day?
Okay, all right. Well, considering
I mean,
he was
I
a
just-
minister, considering he was a minister at the church that I would have gone to work for, yeah, I knew his use.
Well,
Okay.
considering
Did I
whether
trust-
he's a
Did I trust
whether
him
he's
to be
a
sober?
minister or
Yeah.
not doesn't matter.
Okay. Did I trust him at that point during the day to be sober? Yes. Did I trust him after 5 o'clock? Oh, hell no.
Now, I'm guessing that it's kind of sounds like you're saying that this guy is accustomed to alcohol in a way that that one beer wouldn't mess him up. You know, a person tends to get more accustomed to alcohol
All
over
right.
time,
now,
right?
Let me say this. One beer will not fuck me up beyond the point of driving. Okay.
No, but I'm just trying to get the basics.
Impair me, yes. Bug me up beyond the point that I wouldn't be able to stop in time if somebody pulling out in front of me. No. Okay. And it's been that way for 9 years, 2011. Okay. And you're talking, this guy, okay, has, the guy that I bought my boat from, the guy that all this revolves around, okay, for the last 20 years, he's had an ignition interlock on his system, even though every time he's driven, he's been stone cold sober. He's never had a beer. Okay.
All I was trying to get at was that this guy, whether this guy was accustomed to alcohol to such a level that one beer emptied quickly wouldn't have made much of a difference, compared to a person of the same build and so on that has never drinks. That's what I was trying to get at.
Yeah, and that's my point, is that one beer to this guy would have been like a diet soda to everybody else.
Except here's the problem. Just because someone seems to be able to handle their alcohol like that doesn't mean that they wouldn't be at, near, or over the legal limit.
And fair enough. And fair enough. But here's the thing, Jared. If I'd been worried about this guy, okay, I never would have been in the cab of his truck. Okay. The only reason why he asked me to blow into it was because, number one, we were in traffic. Number two, we were in rain. Number three,
Immaterial.
Number three, he had to have both wheels on the car, on the wheel. Okay. And he asked me to blow into it to keep the interlock going instead of having the truck shut down for 30 minutes or until the sheriff's department arrived to blow him clean. Okay. And that would have happened. We hit a bump, the interlock reset. It demanded a blow to continue to go. It had a short in it.
Sounds like someone should have got it replaced.
Well, replacements cost money, and he didn't have it. Not until I paid him for the boat.
I have a question for clarification here. Here, for many, many years, the law states that if you are involved, doesn't matter if you are the what do you call them, instigator or just a party, one of the people involved in an accident, a traffic accident, even if you're a pedestrian. No, even if you're just a pedestrian. If you're over the legal limit to drive, well, then we have a problem, obviously. But if you are under the legal limits, you can actually be charged a lot harder. In other words, you could be charged as if you were under the influence of alcohol.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the same? Is that the same there? Over,
It depends. It depends upon the incident. Okay, if I've had 2 beers, okay, and 2 beers would blow me right around just under the legal limit. Okay, if I've had 2 beers in an hour, I would blow right around 0.7, 0.6, 0.7. Okay, and I have a wreck. I would be charged as driving under the influence, not driving while. Okay. There is the key difference. Driving under the influence is a minor offense, whereas driving while under the influence is a larger charge. Okay.
I understand what you say, but I honestly can't see the difference.
Okay. All
I
right.
mean,
I
know, like I said, I know what you mean. I understood what you mean. But
all right. So if I have a wreck and I blow 0.8 or more, I'm going to jail. If I have a wreck and I blow 0.7 or lower, I'm good. Okay.
So
if I blow under 0.8, if I blow 0.7 or if I blow 0.79 or below, 0.079 or below, I'm good. All I'm charged with is driving while intoxicated or driving under the influence. Okay, if I blow 0.8 or above, I am charged with driving while intoxicated. I'm going to jail.
Right. So you can be charged with driving under the influence of alcohol, even if you're just under the limit.
Yes.
Basically.
There's the over the limit, there's the under the limit. Except here's the thing: even if you blow under the limit at the scene, your ass is still getting a pretty car ride.
Yeah, and still you can also just be. He can also bust you for not being fit to drive, regardless of it's because of alcohol, drugs, or just being plain tired.
And that would play upon the weather conditions. Like tonight, if I got behind the wheel of a car right now, I'd be charged with DUI. It doesn't matter what I do. Okay.
Weather is immaterial to that.
No, weather is material to that because if I blow a 0.5 and the weather conditions are clear skies and moonlit conditions, I'm going to walk away with that with just a DUI or driving under the influence.
You're not walking away from that until the next morning.
Well, yeah, but I'm not going to face a driving under the influence, which is a more serious offense in the state of Missouri. Driving while under the influence is a completely different charge of Class C misdemeanor. I'm not at risk of losing my license. A DUI, driving under the influence, is a punishable offense by losing your license completely.
Well, regardless, in my mind, that should not be a difference. There should not be a difference at all.
And I agree with that.
In some states there are.
Yeah.
But it depends upon each state law.
Yeah. Anyway, just getting back to when I started, when I got in here, that sex offender stuff. I cannot see the sense in making that registered sex offender address list or whatever it is public. That just, in my mind, that just invites vigilantism.
And
I do not understand that. That does not make.
It does. It does, which is why I've always pushed for, okay, have your sex offenders list. I promise you make it private where nobody in the public can access it. You will have more sex offenders complying with that law. As it is, it's out of hand that the offenders don't comply with the law because they don't comply with they don't register with the local sheriff's department. They don't register with the local police department.
Yeah, but depending
that
on
that causes so many more issues than it does solve problems.
But at the same time, depending on jurisdiction, failure to register ends up in jail time.
Yeah,
and that's the thing is that when they show up at the doorstep and tell you, well, you better register on Monday, and they move on Tuesday. How well does that work?
Well, the way I see it, there is only one thing. There's only one potential, and it's a slim one, benefit in forcing convicted sexual offenders to register where they live. And by the way, I never knew that they had to do it every single month. Sorry. Now, the only thing I can think of is that the shame of stepping up to the counter at the local police station, and I don't know if it's digital or paper, it doesn't matter, that you have to physically get there and update that registration. That is,
that's part of the punishment.
Yeah, it's part of the punishment. That is the only possible benefit from this. In other words, it's a lifelong, continuing reminder that this is something that you should not have done.
Well, and here's the thing. Depending on the states and depending on the offense, you're not all people who end up on the registry are required to be there for the rest of their life. It depends on what offense they were actually charged and convicted with.
Okay. All right.
If a couple where the guy was just over the limit of statutory rape?
Yep.
It's called, I think.
Yep.
And the girl is under. That's where you shouldn't be put on a list forever.
But you are there for the rest of your life. It doesn't matter, and that is
re-register every month. That thing.
That is one of the things is that they had a case where a 16-year-old guy got with a 14-year-old girl, and because he crossed state lines to have sex with this girl, and she was 2 years younger than her or younger than him, and she was not of age of consent, they nailed him for the rest of his life. Okay, and only recently, within the last 12 months, did he finally get the ability to get off of the registered sex offenders list after 4 years. Even though he was only 2 years older than her, he was 16, she was 14.
Mm-hmm. I'm guessing that you mean in terms of the public. As far as the public is concerned, he gets removed from the list. I can't imagine.
No, it took more than public interest to get him removed. It took media coverage to get him removed. That's
not what I meant. I meant that
it took media.
He only got removed from the public part of that list. If he gets caught doing something like that again, the police can still see it.
His record is, because of his age, his record is in a gray area where it may be sealed, it may be expunged after a while. That all is determined as part of the end of the trial and actually dealing with the lawyers and what the judge allows.
No,
yes.
Jared. It took gubernatorial intervention The governor had to pardon this
For
guy
that one
to get
case.
him off of the
For
to get him
that
off
one-
off of the registry.
For that one case,
And-
he was not asking about that one case. He was talking in general. And in general,
in
the
general,
situation...
yeah.
in general is what I was responding to, the actual question that was asked. In general, in that situation, it would be a relatively short time on the offenders list, which would then be removed, and depending on the agreement after between the lawyers and the judge, the kid's record may or may not be expunged, which means it would essentially disappear and might as well have not even happened.
Okay,
However,
but
a lot of
without-
times, once you have a criminal record like that has a judgment like that, it is going to remain on his record. So if he were to offend again in a similar fashion to warrant being back on the registry, the kid is screwed. The guy is not getting off the list at that point.
But in that particular case, he was not getting off of the registry without.
No, the DA wanted to make an example of him. That's what it was.
Yeah.
The DA was trying to make a name for himself for his political career after.
Yep. The DA made a name for himself, but not necessarily a good one.
That's the risk you take in a high-profile situation like that. But let's see here.
All right, enough with all the bullshit.
Yeah,
Let's
Jay,
get on with
go
the
ahead
actual
and
show.
let's go ahead and talk about some of the other stuff
Is it
and
bullshit?
things. Yeah, because this will be interesting because I want to see if he's still railing about what someone had just told me about.
Oh, okay. Let me go pull up that
Oh, who?
bullshit then.
Wait. What bullshit do you have on tap?
Stop
there, Jared?
and listen, and you will find out. Seriously, how much have you had to drink tonight?
Too much.
Apparently.
That's probably it. Yeah. And since the person we're talking about is what he is, or it is, of course he still is rambling. I'm willing to. Okay,
he's not
I never
talking about
bet,
you.
but I'm willing to bet.
Is or is not?
You can then come by
He is.
lying to them about
Let him into your room.
lying about what programs you're eligible for.
We see you're in need. We feel this
Let's
one
hear this massive part of this again here, big guy.
or this one, so we can't help you. We see you're in need.
No, back a little further.
Let's
What?
see, when was this? 22.
Jay, are you having fun with your soundboard? It sounds it.
It's not a
No,
soundboard,
it's a live
dumbass.
stream.
It's him live. You couldn't be screwed by being in that case where, well, but you don't meet this one or this one.
Well, guess what I did?
Something
AT2
stupid.
Mr. Productions. I called the VA. I asked them. So let's hear what you got, and let's see if it's actually true or not.
One, so we can't help you. We see you're in
Oh.
need. We feel for you, but because you are not a 100%
Pause it right now.
disability. Guess what? There,
Who the
fuckstick.
fuck?
Hang on.
Wait.
Wait.
Ow.
There we go. So, the VA does zero financial assistance for people in urgent need. Zero. The only financial assistance that the VA does is the educational benefits and disability and pension. That's it. The VA does
And only if
fuck all financial assistance for people. That's where the other aid organizations come in. And those aid organizations are all targeted to smaller subsets of veterans. Your wounded, your Purple Hearts, your people missing limbs, your people who are 100% rated as disabled by the VA. All those criteria are from all those other organizations that claim to be, we're here to help veterans, but you still have to meet these checklists. So how much research have you actually done? None? That's my guess.
And the VA does fuck all for you unless you actually seek them out and ask for help, right?
Oh, that too.
And that's the way it works.
Yeah.
Yeah. And in case you do get some benefits from them, and you happen to move at some point, do you have to reapply for everything, or is that
No,
automatically?
you have to.
I hope.
No, if you're on disability and pen, if you when you move, when you relocate in state or out of state, you update the address with them. It does not have a direct change on what you are or are not eligible for through the VA.
No, wait,
change
Jared,
anything
wait, Jared,
in terms of what you get. I mean, being eligible for something and getting something is two different things.
No, it depends upon where you move to as to what you have to update and what you don't have to update. If you were to move from, say, Texas or Louisiana, where the cost of living is less than, say, California or New York, then you have to go back and update everything. That has an adverse effect on your benefits because you moved from a state where the cost of living is less than where you moved to. Once you move to, you're only going to receive the benefits of the state you moved from until they decide you qualify for the advance in living conditions, meaning New York or California.
Yeah, that's just updating that is just updating your address with them. Once you have a rating, until they do their yearly reevaluation of the percentage you get, that's the time that they will adjust the amount you get. Your cost of living on top of that, yeah, that's dependent on your address. That's why all you have to update them for is your address when you move. And then if you are moving to a state that does have the cost of living adjustment, then you let them know, hey, I moved to this area. When can I expect the correction to the payouts? It's not that you have to reapply. You just have to inform them, hey, this is where I'm at now.
And in those cases, is it usually a hassle to get them to adjust it? You know, in terms of or is it easy?
Yes or no? It's a yes and no type of thing, because if all you are doing is moving from a regular state to a state that has a cost of living adjustment, that is actually relatively painless. However, if you're in the situation like I am, where your current percentage is far below what it should be, I'm on year 12 of fighting them about it.
Yay. Okay. Is it a government-run organization, or is it a government-funded and publicly run by a company or whatever?
The Veterans Affairs Administration is technically a private entity, but they operate off of federal grants, which is why they have their specific financial funding stuff, but they do not do urgent or emergency financial aid.
You said grants?
Yes.
It's not a budget?
It's
no.
Hang on. It is termed as a grant because it is money from the federal government to the VA for their operations and their support. It is not a loan. It is not anything that the VA then has to pay back.
Okay, so it's just a technical issue because it's not specifically run by the government. So it's
it's in that
it's a
wonderful.
It's a financial stipend basically handed to a private organization to carry out a specific
Yeah, it's just the use of the word grant makes me think, okay, so the VA in that specific city there, they have to apply, you know, in the
It's
run of time
nationwide.
before they're, yeah, I mean,
It's nationwide. It is a
yeah, okay.
this is how much money we need. This is how much we're getting, type of thing.
So
Excuse me.
is it just as, is their budget? I know that the VA is ridiculously underfunded, as far as I can understand from anyone I've talked to about this. But is it just as crazy as the police departments across the nation, where they just some police departments get more than enough funding to update their communications, for example, and others that are bigger, other police departments that are bigger than the first one I mentioned, get fuck all? Because I have heard of that type of situation. I mean, does the VA have that type of issue?
Does it really?
They have all sorts of issues.
Do you need to ask the question with over 100,000 veterans waiting to see a doctor just through VA, with 100,000 veterans waiting to see a doctor, and we're talking waiting list of 3 to 8, 12 months.
Yeah, and I have heard that on more than one occasion that veterans trying to get help from the VA end up being so frustrated and fed up with it all that they decide to park in the parking lot in front of the VA and commit suicide. I have heard those stories. It's horrible.
Yeah, and it occurs. It occurred here in St. Joseph, Missouri, which is right outside of Fort Leonard Wood. The VA hospital is on the base here at Fort Lofton Woods.
To me, it doesn't matter where it is.
Outside. They've had people parking outside the VA and commit suicide here.
Yeah,
because they can't get treatment for their basic aches and pains, because it takes them a year to see the freaking doctor to get diagnosed for what's causing them aches and pains.
Yeah, and to me, as a veteran of a different country, I have it's irrational, I know, but I'm having trouble believing it still. I mean, how fucked up is the nation's government? How fucked up is your nation's government that they cannot help those who have served their country to try and I don't know, save people from being oppressed or killed or whatever it is in the line of duty?
You know what?
It's
fucking aggravating.
It's fairly simple, Bo. You have politicians up there. A lot of them give lip service to veteran stuff. They talk about supporting the military and blah, 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 but they don't really put any money where their mouth is.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's to get votes. It's to get votes from their constituents. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, but that's a global issue. I mean, politicians here do that as well. But we still have no problem at all.
We're just much better at
veterans. Now,
we're just much better at producing veterans and taking care of them.
Yeah, I will say though that before, and I can't remember what year that was, but before Denmark entered Iraq, I can't remember if it was enduring freedom or not, but before that time, we didn't really pay that much attention to veterans suffering from PTSD and how much we can help them. I mean, back then there was I think I saw the term earlier. There was a sunset date or whatever you call it for what do you call it? Trying to get help for your PTSD or at least get diagnosed. There was a limit to how many years back your deployment was, for example. Today there isn't that problem anymore. If we over the course of a few years, can make radical changes like that. I see it as a radical change anyway, where veterans that are hurt either physically or primarily mentally, in this case, because physical injuries is covered by healthcare anyway, but the psychological injuries are not covered as much anyway.
All right, even in the U.S.,
Why
they didn't.
Yeah.
They were having problems with the Army even recognizing PTSD up until just a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if our nation that, we used to be a warmongering nation many years ago, but we're not today. We could get that shit in line over the course of a few years, and we have a way smaller budget per veteran, per soldier, or per serviceman than you have over there.
You also have
What
a
the
smaller
hell,
force. You have a smaller force on top of
But
it,
still.
and that actually that's part of the issue is the fact that the VA and the, let's call it what it is, the customer base that the VA is intended to serve has grown at a ridiculous rate over the past 20 years.
So the that I'm just calling it budget because that makes it easier for me. The budget for the local VA does not change, just like our school districts and universities and so on have their budgets based on
It's
the
independent.
amount of people they care for.
It lags behind, and
Of course
and
it does.
yeah, and not just does it lag behind. I mean, the main VA hospital here in my state just the other day opened up a new parking garage because they've had parking issues there for almost 30 years. They've had parking issues at that location since the 90s, and they just now built and opened a 3-floor parking garage right outside the main entrance.
And they're just now asking for a public grant to open up VA parking at the base at Fort Leonard Wood. They're asking for public grants, not loans, grants.
Yeah, it's all too often you see everywhere on the globe that in way too many instances, it takes somebody getting hurt or even killed to make to get changes made. I don't know how many years ago that you started seeing reports of vets committing suicide in parking lots in front of VAs. But why the fuck does that not get people engaged in trying to make that change?
Because
From the outside, the
here in the
U.S.
States,
is perceived as a proud nation that has a big military presence. They have a long history of the military. You focus a lot on patriotism, but when they get home and they need help, we fuck them right in the ass. I mean, how can that not get people agitated enough to actually force those assholes on the hill to make the damn changes?
Can I answer that, Bo?
You probably can't, but you can try.
Oh no,
to make sense of it.
I can't. Okay, for the last 50 years, okay, not 40, 50. The majority of people who parked in front of the VA and committed suicide were Vietnam vets. Okay, now the way that Generation Boomer looked at them was they're baby killers. They had an emotional problem because they killed babies.
Yeah, it was
That's
the
the
time
way.
of hippies.
That's the way that Generation Boomer looked at them. Okay. Now, Gen X, my generation, okay, looked at them differently. We were looking at them as though they were men and women who sacrificed a shit ton, including their psychological mental health. That's the generation that is currently in charge. We understand, hey, this was not our war. This was y'all's war. This was Generation Boomers' war. Okay? But those from the mid and late 70s all the way through the mid and late 90s who were parking their cars, were part of the VA, and blowing their brains out in the parking lot.
Well, to be fair, too, though, that, like, the Gen X is most of the local stuff, but still, if you look at it at, like, kind of governor level and above and up into federal, it's the boomers still running stuff, not Gen X.
You know, and that's the thing is that it really didn't catch on until the late 2000s, until the mid and late 2000s, that we were capable of being in charge and understanding that, hey, look, our Vietnam vets were heroes. Okay, it didn't occur until after 9/11 that our Vietnam vets were heroes, that they fought for something greater than themselves.
Well, whether they were to be considered heroes or not, I don't. I honestly, honestly, down to the bone, I don't give a crap if you want to call them heroes or not. They fought for the greater good. They fought for people's freedoms, trying to get rid of oppression. It has nothing to do about being a hero to someone.
But for 30 years, they were called baby killers and murderers. For 30 years.
Mm-hmm.
That weighs psychologically. That.
Oh yeah, I have no doubt about that.
That no matter what you did, whether you were a helicopter pilot, and I knew a Vietnam helicopter pilot, and he blew his brains out. He blew his brains out in 2005 because all he ever heard was you're a baby killer. And all he ever did was flew medevac.
I wouldn't say
no guns, no guns whatsoever on his helicopter. He flew into hell being shot at every day. All he did was
he saw the horror every single day.
Injured and wounded. All he ever did was evac the wounded and injured.
Yeah.
And you know what? His son at his funeral looked at me and goes, Curtis, you know what? My dad put his balls on the line every day in Vietnam, and all he ever heard when he came back was, you killed babies. That was all he ever heard.
Yeah. There's also
it did not surprise his son. It didn't surprise me when he blew his brains out.
No. You also have it's typical. Usually it happens with men the most. That you don't talk about personal problems.
You don't.
So that's also I wouldn't call it what's the word for it? Taboo necessarily, but
it's a detriment though.
Yeah, it's a detriment. It makes it enormously difficult to ask for help, or at least just talk to a friend about it.
Yeah,
and that makes it
because
that helps
America,
elevate the level of suicides in this case.
Because here in America, we have a level of machismo. Okay, we have a level of machoism. Even in the veteran community, we have that. Okay, you don't ask for help. You don't look for help. If you do, you're weak. You shouldn't have even been in service. That is the level of machismo we have.
Yeah,
okay?
so
it's the level of bravado.
Yeah, I am
When
so
that conflicts
grateful
with
that it is literally the opposite in the Danish army, at least. Most likely, also all the other services here.
oh, we're changing that now, but
Yeah.
you look at your grandfather. When you're an American and you look at your grandfather's generation, especially at my age, being 47, okay, my grandfather being at Sanvi, okay, being caught behind the German lines during the Battle of the Bulge. My grandfather never cried about it. Okay, I never met him because, hey, he had a weak heart. Okay, he had a heart attack in '65. I'm pretty sure some of the stress that carried with him through World War II caught up to him. But even his brother, my uncle, my great uncle, I saw him carry weight that he shouldn't have carried. Okay? But he carried it well. Not everybody is like my great uncle. Not everybody can carry what you did through the war. And my great uncle was on the Indianapolis when it was sunk. Hey, you don't carry burdens like those through the rest of your life
Without putting marks on your...
without it having impact on your psychological present.
Uh-huh.
There is no way. My great uncle told me about the sinking of the Indianapolis and told me, you know what? Had it happened 6 days before, we'd have never completed our mission and the war wouldn't have ended. Looking at history, I would say differently, but that's a conversation for me and my uncle when I die.
And also,
Okay.
I mean, certainly for the U.S., I'm not saying that you're the only country that has done this way too many times, but you are one of the big offenders on this one. If you do not remember history, you are bound. You know the quote. I can't remember it exactly.
If you
you
don't
are
remember,
bound to repeat it.
if you don't remember history, you're bound to repeat it. Yes,
Yeah.
and that is a problem within the U.S.
Yeah, that's the first place that you can try to change, but it doesn't change much, if any. You have to start somewhere, and also
Well, let me tell you this.
From my viewpoints, you throw the word hero, out and about way too often. You use the word hero way too much. You use said that already. you use psychopath too often. You have that mindset like a certain jackass of a president called Bush. You're either with us or against us. This black and white crap.
Okay.
It's not a good thing.
Well,
I mean,
It's divisive.
divisive.
Oftentimes in history is black and white. Okay. Whether we stand in the present and we look at history, okay, we can look at the past. That's all black and white. We look at the future, it's all gray. History isn't written. Would you agree or not?
I honestly don't understand what you meant by that.
Okay. All right. So
Of course,
you can
the
look
future
back,
is great. We have no idea what's going to happen, but that was
okay. All right. Now you've got part of it. Okay. But we look back at history and it's all black and white. Why? Why is the past black and white and the future is gray?
Well, here's the thing. Actually, reasonably and logically looking back at history, it's not black and white. There is gray to it. The problem is that a lot of the sources that people go off of are portrayed as black and white because it's written from the side of the victors and they want to paint themselves in the best light possible.
Thank you, Jared. Thank you. History is always written by the victor. History is always written by the victor.
Here's a good question from the live chat. On a vet-related tangent, what's your take on seeing something in general life saying military grade on it?
Fluff, sales fluff, always
Laughable.
Yeah. My initial response is to laugh.
Shit to hit the civilian market that you may not want to consume.
No, so here's the thing. I'm really am split on it because I've seen the issue from both sides. In that, oftentimes things that are marketed as military grade, they're the military rejects. Now, when you can mute so it's not so loud in our ears.
There you go.
But if you come across an item that has what's called a NIN number, NIIN, and you can mute again because of the loudness you wished, it's being done for a reason. Thank you. An item that carries a NIN number will also carry a heavier price tag because across the board, the specifications and tolerances are so much tighter. Government contracts in the U.S. are not anything to really laugh at on what they're trying to establish. It's how they're procured and maintained that makes them kind of comical.
Yeah. Now look, Jared, you meet me as I'm eating my freaking
you don't have to eat into the fucking microphone.
Yeah, I do. I don't.
No, you fucking don't. No, you don't.
It just so happens that practically all of my coaxial cables for my ham radio stuff, that's below 10 millimeters thickness, they are all military grade because they all they're all mil. What is it? C17, I think it's called. Yeah, mil. What is it? Damn it. Yeah, they have that classification of mil C17 because they uphold that level of toughness in terms of dust, temperature, blah 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 blah, all that crap. All the torture testing regard, of course it's a good selling point. It's a relevant selling point. But when the Chinesium products call them military grade or space age aluminum.
Oh yeah,
definitely. I mean, aviation grade aluminum. Okay, fair enough. There are alloys of aluminum that are practically only used specifically for aviation because of their properties. But yikes!
It's Trump approved.
When I see things say military grade, this is what I'm thinking.
Blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
Well, hey, Jared.
Who was that?
Jared, before I go, I'm gonna buy a inflatable, and I'm going to reinforce the inflatable so that I can make it a portable boat, suitable for somewhat rough water.
Well, that's called a rib. That's easy.
Yeah, I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna make it into a semi. No, Bo. I'm not gonna make it into a true rib. I'm not gonna reinforce the bottom of it with fiberglass. I'm going to actually reinforce the internal hull with wood or aluminum.
So again, it begs the question: if you're using wood, is it ribbed for her pleasure?
Well, you know what? You can ask my wife about that after I'm done with construction of it. If it's
can't-
suitable for her pleasure. I doubt it.
It's-
Seriously.
Try to use aluminum because if you're going to use it,
No, because
want to use
okay. All right. Well, here's the deal: is that I'm buying an inflatable boat, okay, for $109, and I'm going to see if I can weld an aluminum internal superstructure that allows me to stand upon the inflatable parts.
Sorry, I have to ask just one thing. Does the inflatable portion of your boat look constantly surprised?
No, no. You know, Jared. The answer is no, and then the other part of the answer is go fuck yourself. That would pleasantly surprise you. So yes, go fuck yourself.
It's not as bad as that silencer I posted in Discord.
Oh God, if I could see who's talking now, holy fuck.
Oh, I have something else to share on Discord later, and it's a good one.
You know, the words "bite" followed by "me" are adequate here. You know, Jared.
Oh, you'll get a laugh out of this one.
Oh, really? Are you sure about that?
Positive. And everyone laughs at the things I share because when I post something on the Discord server, I get people good.
No, you get people to swear they hate you and want to kill you, like what you did before the dumb fuck of the year.
Yeah.
That was classic, by the way.
That was fucking phenomenal. The second video too.
I knew better. I didn't look at it.
Oh, you should, just for the comedic value, because the first one was in one direction. Take a wild guess what direction the second one went.
Straight to fucking hell.
Oh no, it was already there.
So I've found a new channel that I have to subscribe to.
It carried many of us. It carried many of us with it when it went straight to fucking hell. That's the problem here.
Did we lose him?
One can hope.
He walked into a dead zone.
No, I haven't walked into a dead zone yet.
Damn.
One image that I found on on the 82 server is the one with the chronic back pain.
Oh, that's the one I posted.
Image. Yeah. Where the hell did you get that one? I mean, who came up with that idea?
I found that on Facebook.
Okay. It's just kind of funny to me, and he's got
medieval torture. Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
I love you too.
Are you listening to the
Why do I
shills?
feel like I was just putting in the Iron Maiden?
What the fuck? Oh,
A bunch of people are typing
you
42.
need pebble.
No, that's the shills.
Jeez.
666.
No, no, I mean, on that picture
too
there.
funny. Well, we have it
nine
up still,
C4
boy. Are we good to go? Oh, look at
Jay,
that. Why do I
you're-
even ask?
Jay, we're getting it through your.
Oh, sorry.
Again.
You know how to solve that problem, Jared, is using that button that I just used on You Wish.
Oh, I know. I'm currently trying to find the second.
the image.
Okay. So there's the third one. The third one was really nice. But first, let me.
God damn it, I'm getting muted more than pig would.
Stop fucking eating into the mic. Imagine that. Imagine that. Imagine that. Human decency.
I was folding up the MRE.
See, here's this
And
beautiful
why
thing that
are
your
you-
phone should have. It's called mute. Use
And
it.
are you actually eating that thing voluntarily?
Yes.
disclaimer: I have yet to taste an American MRE, but
Don't.
There are specific MREs that I will be willing to eat because they're sea rations.
What do you,
Oh, you mean
post?
before? You mean the older? Yeah, I don't know how often your field rations are revamped, but nice silence. Oh, that yeah, that's beautiful.
Hey, the C and K rations were not that bad, depending upon what you got.
Yeah, and they were just thought up by thinking, okay, they just need some stuff to eat, and that was it. They didn't think about nutrition and chemical balances and so on.
Yeah. So, Bo.
Yeah, I'm going.
Yeah. You're going to be looking for the
we-
one that is marked as spoiler.
I think we have a mouth breather.
Certainly lives down to it.
Okay.
Excuse me while I cough up the lungs.
Ah!
Do I dare look in Discord, or do I dare look in the freaking side chat?
Oh, you should watch that thing I just watched at a time where you are stone cold sober, calm,
Not gonna happen.
collected. Just woke up from a wonderful sleep.
Not gonna
Then
happen.
you're gonna watch it. Oh, that was a good one.
I remember that video.
You remember
I
trolling?
fear for yourself. I fear for your salvation. I fear for y'all's salvation.
Oh
No, that was a terrible
whatever
Terminator
universal entity you guys pray to or hope to or anything else.
All right, so
we're all headed to hell in a handbasket.
Yep. So, Bo, you watched the one, the spoiler one from the 9th.
Yeah, the one.
Now
the one with the headphones on. Yep.
Yep. Now scroll up further to the day before and watch that one. That's the one that I got everyone on the panel for Dumb Fuck of the Year with.
Was that the one? Yeah, before I started picking on Furball with the chicken.
Yep.
Or was it chicken kicking? Looking. Oh, there you are.
What the hell?
I don't recall seeing that. Okay, I just needed to see that World War III one first.
Here's the thing: is that for next year's Dumb Fuck of the Year, I'm nominating Jared because of all the shit that has caused me to freaking demand eye bleach.
Sorry, that's not a nominationable offense, but
wait. No, we need clarification from the person who runs Dumb Fuck of the Year. Reds!
Well, so here's the thing. The requirements are you are a dumb fuck by choice. Not an asshole, a dumb fuck.
Wait a second. If the qualifications were you were a dumb fuck and not an asshole, how the hell did Kyle Curtis get elected for Dumb Fuck of the Year this year?
So the reason why he was nominated, it wasn't just because he was an asshole. He thought it was a bright idea to lie about it and thought he could get away with it.
Well, there's still asshole behavior. Doesn't mean you're necessarily
He'll be
a
eligible again
dumb
this
fuck.
year. He'll be eligible again for 2020.
Yeah,
just from the drafts he has submitted to the court.
Yeah,
no shit.
Yeah,
I
he's
caught some of that shit.
He's
Yeah, I-
renewed his entry for the running this upcoming year.
And by the way, I'd love to. I can't wait
Wait a second.
till
How much is he
his
billing
recent
Steve for
filing
winning?
comes to light.
Isn't he billing Steve for like $20,000 for winning the case?
No, he's
Unirock is claiming that I don't know where he cut it from, but Jared, you probably know better than I do.
so
Here, I'll
Kyle
pull up the document.
Kyle is trying to retroactively invoice the company for the time that he put into making the animations, the music, thumbnails, all that artistic stuff that he did. Kyle is trying to back charge the company as a result of the lawsuit, not which, sorry, you can't retroactively do that.
Oh, and he's also claiming that he gets to retain the copyrights, even though it was made for the company
Oh, yeah.
by
I know.
him.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Now, there
Yeah,
are
well, I-
stipulations where that is still possible for you to maintain the rights.
Yeah, and
But-
I'm actually getting
right back.
sufficiently interested in this stuff. I actually want to see the filing that he made there, because I want to see if he claims the time that they agreed that he would be able to that would make it possible for him to even charge for that.
Hang on a second.
Because I wonder if he does mention anything like that at all. I'm kind of hoping that he does. Because
Does anybody know? Does anybody know if he actually deleted the Twitter account yet?
Je ne sais pas.
What
Yeah,
was
I
that?
think
Was that a
Twitter-
demand as well?
Oh no,
on
that
the
was
same
what
level
Kyle
as
Curtis
they're
was threatening to
relinquishing-
do through the court.
Well, I saw something to the effect of that as part of one of the documents. Can't remember what document, but that the Twitter account, since it contains some personal stuff as well, either by tweets or DMs, I'm not sure.
Right, yeah,
It should be deleted as well. But
So Kyle
can't-
claimed that because he was using the Non Sequitur Show Twitter as also his personal, that he was going to delete it because of the private messages that it contained.
Yeah.
Sorry,
nope.
can't do that with company property.
And also, what he could do instead would be to delete all those conversations or messages, because you can actually do that. You won't delete if you're having a Twitter conversation in DM. You can delete comments that you make in a in the Twitter DMs.
The one thing I'm waiting for.
Whether it is a one-on-one conversation or a group conversation, you can delete it so that you no longer can see it. Everybody else can. So that way, he can easily do that.
You know what I'm waiting for is I'm waiting for Red's Rhetoric to get a hold of the Twitter account of the Non Sequitur Show. I am waiting for the day that Red's Rhetoric has unabated access to that account.
It won't be Reds on that account.
God, I hope it will be.
No, where Red is going to play and have his fun is fixing the moderator situation on the YouTube channel.
That's easily fixed though, because you would delete all the freaking moderators currently. You would put Boo. You would put
those who are actually trusted.
Yeah, you would put Sean Hufford as a moderator on the non-sex show.
There's already
Holy
a list.
Fuck.
There is already a list.
Yeah, what I'm wondering about is that something that I really didn't like at the beginning, and I still don't like it, all that much, but I see I see the purpose for it.
Okay.
At some point, I think it was Kyle who made the decision to add some of the regular, let's call them opponents to the channel, or many of the viewpoints anyway, as moderators, so that it would be more transparent, I guess, in the live chats on those live streams.
Well, more
For
friendly
example,
and more friendly and inviting for those. And mute when you're fucking breathing like that.
Yeah. For example, the horrible Christian that we don't even have to name here, that woman there, yeah.
That doesn't really narrow it down.
It doesn't. Okay, fair enough. Thankfully, I can't remember her actual name right now.
Are you talking to S.J. Thomason?
Oh, there you go. Yeah, SJ.
Yeah, she's a special
She's a
one.
horrible. She can be polite. Oh yeah.
Unlike
Shuffle
some people.
Yeah. She can be very polite and mute their microphone when they shuffle their microphone. But you can also, hint, hint, you wished. But you can also be a total bitch to veterans, to non-Christians on Twitter, for example. Holy crap, she can be a bitch. But I still do understand the concept of having moderators of differing points of view, I guess, in live chats, so it doesn't look all that one-sided. But it's
What are we complaining about now?
oh, nothing. Talking about you.
Bo doesn't want
Uncle.
S.J. Thomason to keep a spanner over on Nonsec.
No, that's not what I said.
I'm paraphrasing.
I understand I understand the idea of having someone who is not like the others, so to speak, to also be a moderator, someone that has relevance to an ongoing theme of the live streams that we usually get back to, like flat earthers and by the way, no, Nathan Thompson will not get us banner, for fuck's sake.
But Nathan Thompson might.
What? Nerf?
Nathan Thompson.
Oh, that way. Nah, still not. Nope.
Yeah, the joke account.
The parody account.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Yeah, I got it now. I mean,
Are you sure?
In terms of flat earthers, I can't remember the name, but I seem to recall a flat earther who has actually been all the way through polite and respectful during at least one live stream quote debate unquote. I just can't remember who it was. That person, for example,
You must have been dreaming.
No, more like he's drunk.
That too.
And high.
That is very relevant. Nope.
No, drunk dreaming.
The only drugs I do or take is prescription drugs.
When paired with alcohol, can have the same effect as others.
No, guys, take a look at the picture that Tagatron is sharing.
Yeah, you might want to put that on main for the viewers. What the hell? What the? Huh?
Jesus,
Yeah,
attending
I'm
the national prayer.
Yikes. Yeah, I've always tended to be, I don't know what you would call it, a kind of illiterate when it comes to memes. Usually I don't get them, mostly, probably because, I'll try again.
Yes, you don't follow pop culture.
Yeah. Well, maybe. I'm thinking it's more likely because of cultural differences.
Well, a little of both. Tomato, tomato, because that one was reference to if Jesus were actually what he has claimed and was here, what would his reaction be to the White House hosting the National Prayer Breakfast, which happens every year within a week after the State of the Union?
If you read it, it's when you go in the Bible and read about like when he went to the temple and had the exchange people at the temple, the money changers there.
Yeah,
it's beating people and flipping over their tables.
I cannot claim to have read the whole Bible, and I don't particularly want to, but yeah.
Oh, dude.
I start. Yeah.
I just realized I haven't watched episode 3 yet, Jared.
Yeah, you got some time.
I missed it. I missed some stuff yesterday as well. Darn it. But hey, I have my sources now.
Let me ask this: does Jerry Ryan show up yet?
No.
Well, then what's the point of watching?
Oh, here's something.
Because you got to be pissed off like the rest of us. That's why.
Well, hey,
at least I'm not paying for it, like Discovery. So.
Well, to be honest, at the end of the first episode, I got pissed off like I've never been in relation to a TV series that I love before. I mean, I really got pissed off. I guess you could call it a trailer for the series. The trailer that they showed after, at the end of the first episode.
Yep.
It was just one huge spoiler fest. Thanks a lot, assholes. We can see who he gets together in his band of fellows and all that stuff.
But there was no context. So is it really a spoiler? This show doesn't know how to do context. So yes, every part of the trailer has been a spoiler.
Yeah, I mean, of course.
Star Trek in context is like Star Trek in continuity. They just don't work.
Yeah.
But it can in some places. That's the problem.
Yeah.
See, Bo, I've gone away with the Rimshot app. If I feel like I need the Rimshot, I do this.
I love Dick.
I love Dick. Okay, I think that was the wrong button.
No.
That was not my voice.
Now listen to who is saying it.
Here, I'll turn it up a little bit, Bo.
I love Dick.
Do I need to play it again?
Yeah, why not?
I love Dick.
Yeah, I'm still a little bit slow here, but
McRae.
What?
McRae.
Oh yeah.
From his New Year's stream.
Yeah, I'm back in one of those annoying ruts or spouts of not being able to sleep again. So I'm not all there.
Well, here, this track will definitely
usual.
help you go to sleep.
What the?
From the same stream.
The fuck?
From Steve was
excited that Manya came on.
Exceptionally happy that she showed up.
Let's see. Manya, is that the sex worker or
No.
former sex worker that
No.
you had on the show?
Engineer.
Failed at engineering is her YouTube screen name.
Blank.
The problem with that clip, though, it sounds like Steve playing Tommy Wiseau, but
Wait. Are we sure that Steve isn't Tommy?
While having dirty dreams about bronies.
Well, how can one have a dirty dream about a brony? Bo, is there something you'd like to tell us?
Sure. I watched a video today by one of my retro gaming related favorite YouTube channels. And he can't remember his channel name. I'm trying to find it. He is, apart from his old game console videos that he makes, he also makes kick scammer videos, or Kickstarter scammer videos,
Okay.
and videos like that. For example, the seedy or the dirty and the sexy campaigns.
Okay.
Yeah, there was a doozy in there. I'm scrambling to find that video. He's actually quite good. And he's a British guy, so he actually speaks English.
Which that's another thing about Picard. Why do so many Romulans have Irish and Northern UK accents?
Mm-hmm. And also, I can't remember where I saw it, but why does Romulan? No, wait. What does Vulcan need sunglasses for?
Yeah, there's that one
I don't
too.
know where I saw it. I just remember I saw it.
Either
there.
Doomcock or STD Sucks on Twitter found the meme and posted it.
Yeah, or it was on Geoschreiber's channel, scan server, maybe.
It's possibly shared there too.
Yep.
Yeah. All right, fine. Okay, I got that.
I'll admit I don't go onto that server too often.
Mm-hmm. There you go, Jared.
So how
Enjoy at your leisure.
So how much did you actually have to dedicate to get the Dreadnought version of the Galaxy?
I've been this a while. I just pulled out a mothball. It's not that long ago. And this is the Fleet Dread.
Yeah.
Ooh, here's a random question related to Star Trek, though. The disruptors, are they, in theory, actually possible?
More so than the phaser technology, from how it's been described.
Yeah, the thought of using a laser beam as a laser source as a weapon, pulse weapon, is actually viable in terms of heating it up, heating the target up so fast that it doesn't break. It doesn't have time to burn. It doesn't have time to break up. It doesn't even have time to be turned into
flashes.
plasma. It becomes disintegrated at an atomic level.
Now,
another
Not
YouTube
like I was
video I
eating
saw.
dinner or anything there, Bo.
What?
Well, now see what I'm waiting to see him use is that massive phase cannon on the underside of the saucer.
Ooh.
Oh, you want to see that? Give me a second. Let me turn around.
Yeah, none of that. What was it? No, I want the photonic cannon.
And it may have just been the kill shot on that that cube.
Yeah. I'd actually love to see a certain holographic doctor's photonic cannon.
Now I'm not touching that one. But here's a question:
Right?
What is the difference between holographic intelligence in life and an android?
The size of the computer. Much more.
Because apparently there's a difference, because in the current time in Star Trek Picard, all androids in the Federation are legally banned. But EMHs are not.
Well, thinking about it, androids are to a certain level, unless they can be remote
I'd say it's
controlled.
the limitation.
They are.
A hologram is limited to a specific space for the most part. I haven't seen the latest episode of Picard, so I don't know if they've managed to mass produce the mobile emitter, but I'm assuming they have not.
Yeah. And no spoilers, because I know how fucking annoying that is. I would say that since an android is to a certain level autonomous, if you need to stop it or prevent it from doing something or reprogram it or whatever, you have to physically get to it and do something about it, unless you can do it by remote control, and that android is not capable of disconnecting that module that enables it. The holographic projection thing, well, yeah, you have direct access to the computer. You can change it easily.
Well, my thought was you can easily pull the plug on a hologram, not so much an Android.
Well, we all know that Androids are superior to iPhones, so that's all that matters.
What? Okay.
Making a pop culture reference.
Uh-huh. Oh yeah, that's the guy. Okay.
Which guy?
I found the I found my reference to using an extremely high output pulsed laser as a weapon, and drawing a comparison to that and a disruptor. This is because it's basically the same thing.
Did I miss Bool coming into the chat?
I'm on live chat and I don't see him.
Yeah, and what was Jake Snow trying to say?
Don't worry about it.
Oh. Thanks you.
So, I had fun
probably
this morning.
someone called. It's probably someone. Paul is probably just watching more than that stream, and maybe if Bool is on. Yeah, on Unipedals.
Because Bullionator's a dirty slut. He gets around.
Ew.
Well, according to my YouTube stuff, he's still live on the shows, I would assume.
That is probably what it is. So you showed the picture a couple times. What was making you want to bring it up? Just
because it's the stupidity of the whole situation.
Well, Paul, Bullionator does have an open invite. He does know how to come join us, but if he's busy on another channel, then that's fine. That's his business. More power to him.
All right, so here's the picture again of the front end of my car. This door does not open anymore once it shows. But it is drivable. I didn't leak any fluid or anything.
Well, he dodged a bullet there.
Funny because it is a Dodge.
I was going to say pun intended.
A little bit.
Well, what's funny is
I thought it was a happy. I thought it was a
This-
happy looking neon.
So I was on the merger of 101 South going on to I-5 North on in Olympia. Okay.
A freeway, I'm guessing.
Yeah, basically an off ramp to an on ramp, basically type of overlay. And what happened
Transition,
is
yeah.
Jared will be able to see it when he decides to download the video link that I sent him. As you're driving around, if you're watching my dash cam, you'll see the initial accident that starts the pileup. Well, as I come around the corner, the guy who caused the initial accident starts moving back out into traffic, which then causes the people in front of me to brake and swerve to the right, which leaves me nowhere to go.
Oh.
So I slam on my brakes, but as you can tell, it's wet because it's Washington. It rains. And I just slid. So I was able to maneuver around two vehicles before I ended up hitting the guy I hit. And what really sucks about the whole situation is the guy doesn't have insurance.
It sounds like the idiot decided to, expand on his hits and make it into a run as well. That's lovely.
When I was leaving, he was having a field sobriety test given to him, I think.
Which is something I still hope very much that they would introduce here.
Field sobriety
not
tests.
likely yet.
Field sobriety tests can be hit or miss,
Unless you have the experts on.
Well, when you pair it with a breathalyzer, then good. Some of them, some of the questions, some of the things that they have you do, I've heard cops actually say, "Yeah, we're trying to get a tacit admission out of you, like the whole say the alphabet backwards from this letter." They're trying to
get through that one.
Well, yeah, they're trying to get someone to say, "Man, I can't even do that sober." Oh, so you're saying you're drunk?
So, well,
Yeah.
Do you think
I mean,
Sean will get mad if I share his tweet that he just posted?
Nah.
Oh no.
Oh, okay. So I'm gonna click on the full tweet. It is very simply tagged at Unirock, at Unirock TV. Just so you have the context of the tweet. Now let me click that.
Ah.
Oh, okay, you weren't thinking about Air Force shopping. Nice. But we've covered this before, but the obvious advantage to the field sobriety test, as long as it's done honestly and for the right reasons, it tells you a lot. It tells you a lot more than a blood alcohol test does, because an alcoholic, if he doesn't get his morning liquidized breakfast, he'll be shaking a whole lot. But
Well,
once he's gotten his breakfast, he is acting as if he was sober practically.
I
But the
don't
guy
think
who
that
never drinks,
I don't think the guy that I rear-ended, I hit, and it was just a glancing blow from my car, which is nice. But I don't think it was alcohol he was getting the sobriety test for.
Yeah,
okay.
Washington has other things that are legal.
Oh yeah.
It's the reason why I call it the state of the holdover hippies.
Well, you only had to go. You only had to go 2 miles north of where I work to find all those.
Yeah. Has the U.S. Managed to find a what would you call it? A palpable legal limit of THC in your bloodstream
Not that I'm aware of.
compared to blood alcohol? No, we have here. Can't remember it, but in the beginning they just said if you just have a trace of THC in your blood while driving, yeah, you're busted. They take your driver license away from you instantly. But thankfully they have changed that. I mean, it takes a month to get it out of their system completely with the test they use, the blood tests. So I mean, that's crazy.
Well, yeah, judging by that, then you're looking at never being able to drive.
Yeah. And I refuse to to believe that you would be in any way, shape, or form impeded or influenced by THC after, let's just say, 3 weeks. It's just not happening unless they can prove it to us. But again, thankfully they changed it, so it was just in the beginning. Huh? Okay, that's kind of random.
What the live chat?
Yeah.
Look at the look at the statement before the question.
Yeah.
Sorry,
well,
but
except
hang
for
on.
Carl Sagan, of course.
Hang on. I would just like to say that I prefer my monotheism as adulterated as possible.
And by the way, Jay Brown, I feel for you. You see that picture there?
Yeah.
That was an uninsured driver that did that.
Yeah.
Don't.
Yeah, basically where I hit him is the left corner panel area of his vehicle.
I was stationary. He ran in the back of me at 45 miles an hour.
Man, wouldn't it be great if you were in an accident caused by someone else and that person didn't have an insurance, but that person happened to be married to someone who also owns a car, and they would have to relinquish that car to you until your car was repaired. I mean, that would be awesome if that could be put into law.
That'd be
That'd be interesting.
And you see that what you see there is like that's a little bit of the passenger side plenum bumper cover in the back, next to his grill piece.
Yeah.
From the inside of the car or
Yes,
outside
and
of the car?
that was 12 feet in front of my car.
Yeah, but was that
Jeez.
from the inside of the car?
No,
Not the
from
grill,
the
obviously.
outside back of my car.
Oh,
And
okay.
the-
fair
and
enough.
his
But
grill
that would have made
Was
me
15
that-
feet in front of my car.
Yeah, it's just that would have
How
worried
the
me
hell?
if it. Now let me guess. That thing weighs what? The
What, my
between
caliber?
2 and 5 pounds. That piece of plastic.
Probably. I don't know.
Yeah. Damn. How was the wind situation? I mean,
It was rainy, but it wasn't that windy. No.
wind.
No, he hit me at 45. I was stationary. He hit me at 45.
Yeah,
His
but
car slammed into the back of mine at 40.
what was there high winds?
No. He was
Wow.
a stupid uninsured driver.
Yeah. No, it's just the 50 feet thing. It's just wow. Then again, it is
15,
plastic,
not
and it
50.
has
1-5,
Oh, okay,
not 5
fair
0.
enough.
But even
Damn.
still,
Okay.
but even still, to knock the parts off the length of the car plus another 15 feet.
Mm.
Well, my car also moved 4 feet just from the impact. So
16 feet.
So,
But then again, it isn't that plastic isn't glass reinforced plastic,
no, it's all,
so it doesn't have much rigidity. Yeah, it isn't all that rigid.
yeah.
So.
But
This is the actual bumper. I mean, you see, it's all tore up.
yeah, first
What bumper?
It was either the first or second year that I was with Schneider. I was on the way into Boston for work on the Pike, and some jackass rear-ended me. And when I got out and took a look, as I'm walking up and I get to see the front of his car, I see the scrapes on his hood from the underside of my bumper, along with a nice gaping hole in his aftermarket bodywork on the front end. That was my tailpipe. It punched a hole in his carbon fiber front end.
Now, that was his car.
Yeah. Well,
Ouch.
what's funny about this is I was actually working my second jobs. I was doing DoorDash and Postmates. I just accepted the delivery to go get the person's food. So I'm in kind of that gray area where is it my actual insurance that's going to cover it, or is it my rideshare gap insurance that's going to cover it?
It should.
Either way, I'm covered.
It
Or joint.
should. No, it should be the ride share at that point because you were in the
But I didn't have anything. I didn't have any product. I didn't have any people. So it's a gray area with the way the insurance is set up. But either way, I'm covered.
Oh no, yeah. Either way, you're covered, but it should be on the ride share because you were essentially on the clock because you were on the way to pick up the delivery.
Yep.
Yeah, and you're talking to someone who has actually been on the road for most of my professional career after the Navy, and yeah, whenever you are driving and it is in direct relation to a job, that employer, that job, is supposed to take all insurance liability.
Well, unfortunately, with these things, since you're an independent contractor, you insure yourself as the extra rideshare coverage that you pay for. So either way, I'm paying for it and I'm covered.
Yeah, but I would put it under the rideshare one because again, you were essentially on the clock.
Yep.
That really is the best way to think about it and describe it. And
That's how I explained it to him. As I was on the clock, I was going on my way to go do this.
oh, what
But the
you
way
find
USA
now,
handles it is up to them.
yeah.
Oh boy.
What did you find this time?
Oh well, since we were talking about car accidents, I wanted to find a news article, a local one, that involved
A bunch of pigs.
technically, no, I guess, yeah, it's the equivalent of an infantry fighting vehicle, but wheeled and not tracked. That, yeah, accidentally started mowing a civilian car behind it. But I was looking for it, but then I came across something else. We still have the draft here in Denmark, or conscripts, right? But only it's only mandatory for men, but it is open to women as well. What I just came across here is that a 19-year-old Muslim woman who decided to become a conscript. She left after 4 days because she refused to what's it called? Damn it. She refused to not wear the part of the uniform called a beret. She wanted to use her what do you call
The
it?
hijab.
Yeah, well, it's not a full body cover, just the head.
Yeah,
head scarf.
it's just the hijab.
Oh yeah. I always get hijab and niqab confused. But she, what did you expect? I mean, if push comes to shove, and you're going somewhere where somebody is, throwing bad things at you, you would want to wear a helmet. What then?
Uh-oh.
And she
How
calls it
did he...
sexism. What the hell? Wow.
So by the way he is dressed,
Did he
it's either somebody
at drunk?
managed to go in and steal the keys to this thing and took it for a joyride, or it's a rural route carrier that happens to be in a developed area.
I'm thinking
And that-
rural.
Yeah, and the thing he was dodging was the driver, the owner. I mean, not one way. Wow. The postal worker, I guess.
No, looks like
No,
a
he's not wearing a
joyride.
uniform.
Yeah, that looks like a joyride. But why would you run back towards it?
No. That was. Aren't we talking about two people here? The
No.
car swerved something on the ground.
Yeah. The car.
It hit the mailbox.
No, the car swerved. The driver fell out.
Oh crap. Okay, I thought that somebody was driving the car and swerved to avoid someone lying on the floor, ground. Okay,
Oh.
fair enough.
No,
Jeez.
what it does is it hits the mailbox, freaks him out, so he swerves hard left
He overcorrects.
and then falls out because he's not wearing his belt properly, or at
Because
all.
he's a
Hard
jackass. Yeah.
Oh, that's a nice
If
freeze
they're
frame.
even fitted.
Oh,
Yeah.
we might.
Road, it needs a Roadrunner theme music to it there.
Oh god.
Why can't I find
Well, talking about accidents got me into thinking about LLV fails,
Hmm.
because it reminded me of the postal edition of Man Shorts.
Oh yes.
You remember?
I. That series, whoever their writing staff is, don't get paid enough.
No, they don't. Oh.
What'd you find this time?
I was thinking that they don't apply the handbrake.
Uh,
Oh.
Well, according to traffic laws here, it's not a parking brake. It is an emergency brake, and there's a good reason for it. But that's a different story. Technical crap.
I'm just waiting to see if somebody.
I wonder why they would have that delineation between the two.
Oh, he's got the good carts. I just had a giant
Yeah, I mean,
pumpkin bin.
that handbrake thing, it is useless if you're driving and find out, oh crap, my brakes, and you pull that thing. It only it only increases the friction a little bit. It's just the rear wheels. I mean, it's
I don't see anything wrong with this. This is how most of them do it. Not really, but
Well, we can't see it, so.
yeah.
yeah, I'm having fun with it.
Yeah.
Of course you're gonna have fun with it. You always have fun with it. That's why your eyesight is so bad, because you can't stop playing with it.
Are we talking about the same thing?
Probably not.
Probably not.
Let's see
I
if
mean,
this
how else
turns
are you
into a
supposed to load up and
self-service.
meet your delivery timelines?
Just
Organize it
shove the
neatly?
No, he shoves the. He does. Okay, I'm surprised because I've seen videos of UPS drivers taking one of those crates or those cages, as tall as that, full of boxes, and just throwing it into the van, as is.
Well, you do know that the whole.
What the actual?
Wow. You
Door to
lazy
door.
son of a.
Well, isn't it supposed to
That's
be
a
a
rural
door-to-door
route
service?
carrier.
It's a door-to-door service.
Oh,
Come on.
well, no wonder.
Oh, yeah. This person does not walk out. Okay, she. Yeah. No, she. What's the correct word here?
Oh wait. Looks like she was
She
reaching for
floats
some
out.
more.
Of it. She's yikes.
Could put the fork down?
Yeah. Ooh. Ah, finally.
I think this is the one
Apple-
that inspired the Man Shorts video.
Whoopsie.
Yep.
How does it?
I remember seeing this in training.
How does it
Wait.
move into reverse by accident like that? I mean, what?
The levers in these
Warren
things, most
here?
of these were built in the late 80s, early 90s.
Oh, okay. No. While having fun with that, I'm having fun with the other thing I just found. Apple has recently received a fine of 25 million euros for deliberately slowing down iPhones. Assholes.
Oh, you mean they're finally doing something about the throttling that they've been doing?
Yep. And yes, Apple does absolutely do that. And Android, damn it, companies that make Android phones does all sorts of other things as well to make sure that the perpetual, what do you call it? Damn it.
Planned obsolescence.
That's the word I'm looking for. Yeah, they have that planned obsolescence thing in that. Yeah, that they're
I'm still running
experts
on
at.
I'm still running on an LG G5. It's still working fine. So.
And by the way, that plate lies. Virginia is not for lovers. Who the hell came up with that slogan anyways?
The marketing department.
They need to be fired out of a cannon.
So this is about the area where I hit the guy.
Uh-huh.
Monday, normal morning commute. This is all one line here on the right or on the left, because nobody believes in spacing themselves out in the various lanes that are available.
Well,
but
of
yeah,
course not.
I hit
Or
right about
distance,
here, and then I had to creep my way over here to the shoulder over here.
Ooh, can you get an instant
Traffic report?
Yeah. No, instant driver ban. In other words, get your have your driver license taken away from you if
If the crash
police
is severe
catches
enough.
you. No, if your car, if they catch you on the freeway driving at a distance of, say, okay, you drive around 100 kilometers an hour. Fuck it. No difference, basically. At a distance less than, what would that be? 30 feet?
No,
Oh.
they'll
Not
cite
too
you.
bad.
They'll cite you for tailgating and unsafe driving, but it's not until you have multiple instances of the same offense that your license will then be suspended. And if it gets suspended enough times, and then it goes bye-bye forever.
Depends on the state too, because depending on it's possible. For example, if someone got if whatever happened was severe enough that the police were decided to go for, let's say, reckless driving instead of speeding or following too close. Reckless driving is a misdemeanor in this state. It is a arrestable offense. They could arrest you on the spot and take you to.
Yeah, but it's not that law is not used all that often.
Hell?
But they do have to. They do have the ability to take the driver's license on the spot. It doesn't even have to go through court.
Not here.
Under the correct circumstances, of course. I mean,
Okay, why did you go out to that airport?
Well, I was sitting here looking through it. I'm like, what the hell is that? You know, like it's obviously land, but it's just like zooming in to see what it's a beach. That's about it.
oh, now you just made me think of Riley. Thanks a lot.
It's a glorified sandbar.
Yeah,
Pretty much.
Bermuda's a fun place.
Yeah, I'm really glad I didn't have to do any piloting party out of here at all,
Or Kingsway.
or over here.
Yeah, see, looking at it, Norfolk wasn't that bad.
See that's like we went out to Bermuda during our ORS because we came back from a 6-month med cruise. We pulled in Norfolk just long enough to pick up the Norse team, then sailed back out towards Bermuda area, but we never got to go anywhere out there, of course. Just Norse.
So scroll back in. Scroll back in. Right. Go towards the south. There's a. Yeah, zoom in into the cove down by. Yep, down in there. Because you'll. Hang on. No. Scroll left.
Rather left. What am I thinking?
And go down a little bit. Think that's where the cruise ships pull in. Should be the Royal Wharf. To the right there.
Yeah, wharf. Oh, yeah. It's incredible that
Nope.
that Lieutenant Worf
towards
has made
Somerset.
an impact on so many.
Go north.
No, it's a wharf, not wharf. Confused Bo.
Yeah.
No, not good. Okay. How the hell would I get that confused?
Well, it's a wharf, not a wharf.
Right there.
Wharf and wharf.
That's where the cruise ships pull in.
I wonder if they finally.
Oh, hey, it's a Disney cruise ship.
Or is it one of those insane yachts?
No, that's actually a cruise ship.
Private yachts. Oh, hey, what's the
That's a
craziest
city
thing
on
you've ever?
That's the city on a keel right here.
Yeah.
Pretty
What's the
looking
craziest
target.
This
thing
is a
you have
cruise
ever
ship.
heard being put on or into a cruise ship?
They're very pretty looking targets.
Pretty much.
I believe it was a brand new cruise ship that they were talking about in the news lately, where a go-kart track was installed on the roof.
Oh,
of that
that's
cruise
the
ship. Go-kart
that's
track.
the
That's got to be one of
Royal
the.
Caribbean.
Yeah.
That's so. I mean, hey, it's awesome. I have nothing against it, but what the
It
hell?
sails out of Seattle during the summer.
That's fucking hilarious.
Oh, they moved. They. Oh yeah, that's right. It is one of the ones they put on the West Coast.
Yep. Where is it in here? I want to
But
say it's down
John.
here.
Disney's Island.
Oh no, no. Disney's next secluded beach area. I want to say it's on this island. Or yeah, I think it's the bottom of this one. They're basically taking the lower portion of this island and
Taking it.
converting it into another private island area.
Yeah, that only Disney cruise ships can pull into.
Yep.
Well, when you got the money to do it, places will let you.
Where is it?
If
The bottom
only
of this
if they
one.
would, if only they used a little bit less money on that, and
Oh, it actually, I think
treated,
no, it's this one right here. It's this island here.
and actually started treating their employees better. I'm talking specifically about in their theme parks. That'd be awesome.
But they
gotta-
don't.
Oh, they have to start spending some more money to start lobbying the copyright stuff too. So
Yeah.
Ha.
Get
Oh
to that
yeah,
point
it's about that time. Yeah, assholes.
Well, keep in mind, when you work at Disney, you're not an employee. You're a cast member.
Mm-hmm.
And you think the land-based employees have it bad? Try being on a cruise ship for, a 9-month
Yeah,
contract.
with nowhere to go, unless you had enough money for a helicopter ride.
Oh no.
Almost.
they treat their employees like family.
Yeah.
In the Ferengi way.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, a family in disarray. Yeah.
No. Disney has basically taken the rules of acquisition from Star Trek and treated it as the business gospel.
Exploitation starts at home.
It is one of the
Bo's
better
not too far from his own Disney paradise.
paradise. My ass. That's
Oh.
in France.
Oh come on! You don't
not
want to go.
Holland.
You don't want to go to Disney Paris?
Hell no.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
on
The one
earth
in
would I
Japan.
want to do that?
The one in Japan is much more entertaining. Now, how many actual Europeans go there?
Enough that
the
they
Paris
actually
one?
they allow they have special EU annual pass holdings. I don't know that the UK is going to be able to take advantage of those any longer, but
That reminds me of. I can't remember. Yeah, it was a so-called newspaper, a Daily Express, I think. One of those news outlets that have no clue about what proofreading or
just about every
sourcing their
major
material
journalistic.
correctly. Yeah, well,
like
these
any
are
major
really bad.
journalism.
These are really bad, though. The article they put out on the Brexit deal finally going through, they for the article, they had probably an intern prepare a photo to go with that with that article. It had the old passport, a picture of the old passport, and then they had beside it a picture of the new passport. Except one little tiny detail.
Why are we going into the Gobi Desert?
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember where a town was.
Twitter thing.
Without
I need to find out again.
From Grand Tour.
Oh.
I can't remember the actual name of the town now.
Shitsville? No, wait, that's no, that's Australia.
Well, this is where Amazon Prime comes in handy.
Yeah, I can
Darn
always
it!
ask.
I'm realizing now that the Brexit thing has officially happened. There's a meme I had that I had captured that doesn't apply anymore, unfortunately.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's very sad.
Well, here, I will stop sharing while I look this up, and you can share it with everybody.
Oh yeah. Oh boy.
Hang on. I didn't get to read that. There we go. Oh, beautiful. You know, this would explain why Picard, the most English person ever to walk aboard a starship, continues to claim he's French.
Well, that one doesn't work anymore, though.
Oh, yes, found it. Yes. Okay. Oh wait, wrong corner.
So did any of you guys fully watch all of season 3 of the Grand Tour?
I have not watched any of it.
Nope.
Oh,
No.
it's well worth the watch. Especially when you find out that they get left off somewhere over here with a car in a kit that they have to build. And when I say they, I mean May and Hammond have to build. Clarkson is in charge of the rations. And they have to get from basically somewhere over here all the way to this one. However, the way it's spelled on the map is Moron with the little special characters on top to give it the proper pronunciation. So what do they
Umlaut
call it the whole time?
in German.
They call it moron. It's quite a hilarious episode.
Oh, well, this is going to be fun.
What?
Conversations to take place shortly, so yeah.
Oh, basically, can you run a movie night tonight?
Nope. Not that.
Oh.
Because I'm honestly not going to be coherent enough, long enough to do that. And I already had to deal with You Wish tonight.
Okay. Go check the.
Yeah, I got it.
But in the meantime, just there's going to be a conversation about a particular fuck stain, and let's just say there's someone out there that could have made a much better choice. Jason,
Does it have to do with the tweet that I shared earlier?
Yep. And I just have to say, your mother should have swallowed.